You'll find the Sproul Ranch stretching across 11,000 acres in southeastern Kansas. Although Bill and Peggy Sproul are longtime cattle ranchers, they moved to this area of the Flint Hills just a few years ago.
We're a custom grazing outfit down here. We're not afraid of ownership, but at the present time we don't own any of the cattle. We take care of, right at the moment on our lease country and on this ranch here, we graze 3,200 yearlings and we graze 150 to 200 mother cows.
The Sproul family grazes cattle on the native tallgrass prairie rangeland with a goal of managing the grass in a sustainable way.
It's very important that cattle are part of this combination, this puzzle that we do out here of trying to put this whole thing together to keep this prairie going.
The tallgrass prairie is its own ecosystem. There is several wildlife, lots of birds, lizards, all sorts of different animals that indicate whether your prairie is healthy.
In the evolution of these prairies in here, the bison and the buffalo and the elk and stuff grazed this country, and that's how these plants evolved. They evolved by being bitten off. If you just let them go and don't ever work them, don't ever bite them off, don't ever walk on them, they get lazy and they lose all their vigor.
I see it as a well or a fine-tuned machine that requires all aspects to be working in tune with each other, not just the cattle, but the wildlife and the birds, the mammals, the reptiles, insects, everything relies on each other to be a productive system.
The Sprouls have worked with conservation and wildlife agencies to improve their ranch. In addition to developing and protecting springs and small ponds, Bill and Peggy have partnered with NRCS to conduct rangeland monitoring to assess grass usage, stocking rates, and to ensure healthy pastures.
If it wasn't for their concern and their help and their knowledge and their experience, we could not be the operators that we are now.
Bill is a very traditional rancher, but inside of that traditional rancher framework is also the desire to explore new areas and new technologies and new systems of approach and management. Stewardship is certainly his main goal, but he's not afraid to try new things that help him reach that stewardship goal.
At Sproul Ranch, they're using an innovative strategy called patch burn grazing. Each year, a portion of the pasture is burned, which attracts cattle to the lush regrowth of grass. The remainder of the pasture is allowed to rest.
We burn 1/3 of it, but we stock it accordingly, and the cattle will physically camp on that 1/3 that's burnt and just graze her right down tight. I'm interested in looking at innovative grazing systems that I can get the performance of being on burnt grass, but I still have a small portion of the ranch that's unburnt for nesting and brood rearing of grassland birds.
To help restore prairie grasses, Bill cut down more than 30,000 invasive trees. That has transformed hundreds of acres of once shaded grassland into open prairie. In addition, there are 19 unproductive oil wells on the ranch, and Bill worked to plug and clean up the well sites.
That's one of my greatest accomplishments, I feel, on this land, was to clean up those sites and get those holes plugged. It wasn't very pretty before, but boy, it sure is changing back. The earth is taking her back over.
The Sproul family believes in leading by example, and they're always willing to share their time and techniques with fellow cattle producers.
Bill and Peg both feel like there's always more to learn, but at the same time, they're always teaching others in a way that they just is natural and one that comes across very sincere and very effective.
I just speak about whatever comes from my heart, and this whole system out here is important to me.
Every day, the Sproul family works hard to make sure their grasslands remain sustainable for the cattle, the wildlife, and for those who will come after them.
If we can leave our ranch better than we came to it, we have accomplished our goal.
I'm fortunate. I'm here. I'm living it right now. And my kids get to live it. But I'm afraid that if we don't do something, my generation doesn't do something, then that won't be here for generations on out. And that's real important to me, to leave something behind for them.